Hello, thank you for stopping on my video. My name is Becky and this is Becxreadz. I post videos every 5 days, and if I can manage, I will squeeze some in between, and today I have a reading vlog. But before I get into the reading vlog, if you could do me a favor and hit that subscribe button for me if you haven't already, it would really help my channel grow, and I would love for you to be here. And if you notice that the intro of this video and the outro of this video, I'm wearing the same thing. I didn't film an intro, so 2 in 1. So I was just going to make this reading vlog about Belladonna here because this is the book that was up on my Pick My Monthly TBR poll and it won. But I realized that I've read 2 books this month that were also part of my Blame the Booktubers video that I did, where I went through some of the books that I had purchased because of booktuber recommendations. And I've read 2 books from that list already, so I thought, you know what, instead of just making it a vlog about Belladonna here, I'm going to include the second book that I read, and it'll just be like a follow-up video to the Blame the Booktubers video. And we'll see if their recommendations panned out for me. So let's get going. So I am starting this reading vlog off really late for Belladonna. I am already 100 pages into it. So far, I'm not hating it, but I'm not like super loving it either. It's very descriptive, and as I've mentioned many a time, I'm not a descriptive reader. I'm a dialogue reader, and it started off good. It really intrigued me with like the first couple chapters of her family dying and her moving to different relatives and all that. I really like how she's able to like go into the death realm almost and interact with death. I really like his character. He's just dry humor, and I like that about him. I think he's very annoyed with her, which I kind of also like. But at 100 pages, nothing much has really happened. She's now at her new family, Thorngrove, I think it is. And she's trying to figure out like why her cousin is so close to death and how she can prevent that and everything like that. It's been slow going. I've been working on this since Monday, and it is now Friday what is today, Titty? The 12th? It's the 12th, I think. So I've slowly progressed to that point, and I just wish there was more dialogue within the story so that I could connect better with the characters, because I don't care about description. I don't care about how inky the night is or how palatial this house is, and I don't care about like the descriptions of the rooms and things like that. Like my brain fills all that shit in. Like I don't care about all that. I just want character interaction. That's what I want. I'm a character reader, so I'm not hating it. I'm not loving it, but I'm interested to see where it goes, if that makes sense. Titty, hey, say hi to the people. Say hi, people. No? Okay.
Feels like love, Cupid made a shot straight into my heart. Now I'm falling fast and my world's expanding. Feels like love, even though we're kinda nervous. Together we'll be strong. I don't know for sure, all I know. Know what hit me when we started. I was shaking electric, trying to stay calm and collected. On that summer afternoon, you were shining like a gem in the sunlight. We were out until midnight, yeah. You said to me.
Hello again. It is now Sunday the 15th, so I didn't read it all Saturday. So I have made it to 250 pages into Belladonna, and to be quite honest, I'm really bored with this book. Not a lot has happened. It's giving me very much like Pride and Prejudice vibes, kind of, with like this girl getting her like etiquette training and socialite training and like gossiping over tea about who the rich gentleman will be that she will dance with, and getting dancing lessons. And then when it's not that, it's like a murder mystery story, which I don't really like murder mysteries all that much. There have been a few that have worked for me, but in this one, it's more like, we're going to go to this person and I'm going to, you know, question them very vaguely and see what they say. And then I'm going to go to this person and question them. And then I'm going to go to this person and question them. And then I think I have suspicions about this person. And that's just very boring for me to read. Death is what is keeping me reading this book because I do like his character. But I feel no chemistry between Death and Signa. It's almost just like two friends is what I'm getting. They have their little moments where it could be something, but I just don't feel their chemistry. And as for her and Stable Boy, whose name I cannot remember, I want to say Thomas, but I don't think that's it. His last name is Thorley. I remember that. But I don't feel any chemistry between him either. At this point, I'm halfway in, and I'm just like, when is this supposed to be interesting? I know this has made so many people's like best books of 2022 list, and so many people love this. And I think if you're somebody who likes like the murder mystery Gothic type atmosphere, yeah. If you like society drama, yeah, you might really like. Neither of those things I really care about, quite honestly. And as I've mentioned, this is very like descriptive and not too much dialogue, so it's not really working for me in the highest regard. I am planning to continue reading it though, because I am interested in Death, and he is what is pushing me to finish reading this book. But aside from him, like, I don't even care about like who poisoned her aunt or who's poisoning her cousin at this point. I don't care. But I'm going to keep reading, and I will let you guys know how I feel about it probably when I finish, unless something dramatic happens and I need to update, but it'll probably be when I finish reading. So until then, I finished Belladonna, and I gave it 3 stars. This wasn't exactly what I thought it would be. I thought it would be much more just paranormal with some romantic elements to it, and it ended up being a murder mystery. And I'm not too fond of murder mysteries. So this is the story of Signa, who lost her family at a very young age, and death has always followed her. She is unable to die. She keeps trying. She will keep taking belladonna berries to see if she can contact death and figure out why she can't die. And every time she does, death comes to her. They have their little tit for tat, and another person dies in her family. So her aunt has just died, and she is moved on to the next family member in line to take care of her, because for some reason she's not able to take care of herself. She's 19. So I don't know why she hasn't gotten her inheritance. Maybe it was mentioned in the book. Maybe she had to reach like 21 or 25 or something like that, or she had to be married or something like that. I can't really remember. But she is now 19, she's at this new estate, and when she gets there, she realizes that her aunt has died, and her cousin is now dying from the same disease that her aunt died from. So she's trying to solve this mystery and try and keep her cousin and the rest of her family alive, because she's tired of losing people. And with that, she gets the help of this stable boy and of death to try and figure out what's causing this death. This book started out good. It caught my attention right away. It starts with a death scene and this little baby facing death and him not being able to take her. So that caught my attention. The other thing that held my attention was Death himself. I found his character to be incredibly captivating. I wish he would have been a little bit more morally gray. He was a very, very good person. So I felt like him being a super good person and a reaper, I wish he could have been just a little bit more on the evil side. I think that would have brought in a lot of the chemistry that I was missing from this book, because I felt no chemistry between Signa and Death. They had their moments where it was almost there, but it just felt like friends to me. Even when they reached the romantic ending and things amped up in the spice situation, not too spicy because this is a young adult novel, but even then I didn't feel their chemistry. The twist ending I had guessed that before I even started reading the book. I was like, you know, I bet this is what this twist ending is. And I was right. So when it happened, I really wasn't that blown away. I will say that my friend told me I wouldn't like this book because it had a love triangle element into it. That's what she had heard. I had never heard that. And I can say that there is no love triangle in this book. For anybody who's watching this video and might get that same impression, there's no love triangle in this book. It was beautifully designed enough to capture my attention and make me want to buy it. So pretty, right? End papers, yes. So that got me to buy this book, as well as the recommendation that Jess from Honest Fiction gave me. That's no fault of hers, Jess. I appreciate you recommending me this, and I can definitely see why you loved it so much. But this just, it wasn't great for me. Sadly, I will be unhauling this book at some point because I didn't like it enough to keep it, despite it being so fucking beautiful. These books with beautiful book covers just, they are not winning for me. So, that being said, if it sounds like something you're interested in, definitely check it out. The other book that I read based on a booktuber's recommendation was Painted Scars by Neva Altaj. This one I got from Ava at Ava's Romance Books, and I loved this book. I had not planned on reading it. I was laying in bed and I had started reading a different book, and then I was like, I wasn't really into it, so I was like, I'm just gonna start this one, see how it goes. Yeah, I got halfway into it within like an hour and a half, and then I fell asleep and my brain just wouldn't leave me alone, and so I picked it up and I finished it. So this is the story of Roman, who is the head of the Russian Mafia in Chicago, and Nina, who is the daughter of a man who was stealing from Roman. So instead of Roman just killing her father, he blackmails him into arranging this marriage of convenience with his daughter for 6 months for the sake of looking like he has got his shit together within the Russian Mafia. Roman did have a previous injury where he was in an explosion and his leg severely got messed up, and so he is no longer able to walk. He is using a wheelchair, and as you can imagine, a man in a wheelchair probably isn't going to be perceived like the most deadly of men within the Mafia. So he needs to find a wife to sort of give that illusion that he's got his shit together and he is still a man, if you will. So in comes Nina, and I love Nina. Nina's character was so great. She did not have any of this over dramatics of being afraid of this man. She had her hesitations, but she's like, you know what? The situation is what the situation is, so I'm just gonna make the best of it. And that's what she does. She goes into it and she just tries to make the best of this marriage of convenience. She is also a painter, which I found really likable about her. And she just had interests that were outside of her relationship with Roman, which is so nice to see. She's also very snarky, very sassy, but she knows when to push Roman's buttons and she knows when to just back off and just let him be his grumpy, cantankerous self. I liked the progression of their romance in this story. It wasn't too quick. It felt very natural. I felt like their attraction to one another was great. I felt like the smut scenes could have been a little bit longer and a little bit more creative. They were pretty but their chemistry made up for it. They had amazing chemistry. One of the things I like about this Mafia romance is he's a very murderous guy. He's a very badass guy, but he treats his woman like a queen. And that is the kind of dark romance that I like. I like my murderous characters, my badass characters, my touch my wife and you die characters, which this has, but I want them to treat their women with respect and cherish them. And that Roman, he does it. He does it great. It had good like points of intensity, and the climax was good. The conflict was believable and good as well, and I felt like that conflict was natural within their romance, and it wasn't just like, oh, I'm over it. It took a while for their conflict to be resolved, which I also enjoyed. I just enjoyed this book. I thought it was really well done. It kept my attention. It kept me hooked. I loved the story. I loved the characters. And I think this will be a Mafia romance series that I will binge. So thank you, Ava, for this recommendation. It was spot on for me. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know down in the comments, have you read either of these books? Do you want to read either of these books? And if you are still here, could you leave me the skull emoji, because Roman, he's a deadly man. And until my next video, read a book that somebody has recommended to you. Bye!